What if one single decision made in 1940 didn't just change a battle, but altered the entire future of our planet? What if Britain had fallen, and the world woke up inside a terrifying nightmare timeline? Today, we are diving deep into a chilling what-if scenario that historians and strategists have debated for decades, a world they call the day Britain never stood a chance. Picture this. The year is 1940. Europe is burning under the shadow of war, and one crucial decision is about to rewrite history as we know it. In our real timeline, Britain stood firm, a bastion against the storm, and ultimately survived. But in this alternate universe, things unfold very, very differently. This is the story of the fall that never happened, but so easily could have. It was called Operation Sea Lion, the ambitious and audacious plan to invade the British Isles. In our reality, this operation was ultimately abandoned. It collapsed for a few key reasons. First, the Royal Air Force, the RAF, fought back with incredible ferocity, denying air superiority over the English Channel. Second, crossing that treacherous body of water with an invasion force was a logistical nightmare, almost impossible without complete control of the skies and seas. And third, Britain's Royal Navy, the most powerful fleet in the world, remained a dominant and unbroken force, ready to decimate any invasion fleet. But in this alternate world, timing changes everything. Let's set the scene. September 15, 1940. Historians call this Battle of Britain Day in our timeline, a day the RAF scored a decisive victory. But in this other reality, it becomes the ultimate turning point. Imagine the skies over London suddenly filled not just with bombers, but with thousands of elite paratroopers dropped behind enemy lines in a perfectly coordinated, overwhelming strike. They aren't aiming for cities. They're aiming for the nerve center of Britain's defense, its radar stations, its airfields, and its critical communication hubs. Simultaneously, a massive and relentless air offensive is launched, a brutal campaign that doesn't let up. This time, it's bigger, more focused, and it successfully overwhelms the exhausted British defenses. Key communication lines go down, creating chaos and confusion. The chain of command fractures. In the panic, the British leadership is forced to evacuate London, heading north to establish a government in exile within their own country. The capital is in disarray. And then comes the final, devastating blow. While the RAF is scrambled and British land forces are racing to counter the paratroopers, German naval forces and a wolf pack of U-boats coordinate a rare, perfectly timed strike against the Royal Navy's home fleet. It's a high-risk gamble that, in this timeline, pays off spectacularly. The pride of centuries, the shield of the British Empire, is crippled in a surprise attack. Key battleships are sunk or heavily damaged, and the naval blockade of the English Channel is broken. With the skies contested and the seas now open, the invasion begins. Within 3 weeks of that fateful September day, the mainland of Britain is lost. Resistance continues in the rugged north, but the industrial and political heart of the nation has fallen. But this is only the beginning of the nightmare. Once Britain collapses, its vast global empire becomes the prize of the century. The victorious power now gains immediate access to a treasure trove of strategic assets. They inherit British industrial resources and manufacturing know-how. They seize control of colonial support systems, gaining manpower and raw materials from across the globe. They capture one of the most advanced intelligence networks in the world, the secrets of Bletchley Park falling into the wrong hands. And perhaps most critically, they seize control of Britain's vital trade routes, including the naval choke points that lead to the rich oil fields of the Middle East. This single event doesn't just tip the scales, it radically shatters the balance of global power. The world map is about to be redrawn in terrifying ways. Fast forward to June 1941. In our timeline, this was the start of Operation Barbarossa, the invasion of the Soviet Union. It was a brutal war fought on two fronts. But in this alternate timeline, there is no second front in the West. The invasion of the Soviet Union begins with far greater numbers. Divisions that were once tied down guarding the coast of France are now freed up to join the push eastward. They are bolstered by captured British equipment and fueled by Middle Eastern oil. Without the pressure from the West, the campaign moves at a terrifying speed. Major cities like Moscow and Leningrad fall early. The vast industrial heartland of the Urals is threatened far sooner than ever anticipated. A huge, contiguous landmass stretching from the Atlantic to deep into Eurasia is now under the control of one expanding, seemingly unstoppable influence. This is the moment the world map truly begins to twist into something unrecognizable. By 1943, America stands nearly alone in a world it no longer recognizes. In the Pacific, with the British fleet gone, Japan's imperial ambitions have expanded with even less resistance. A massive, consolidated empire now controls most of Europe and huge swaths of Asia. The world enters a new, deeply unstable phase of extreme uncertainty. Instead of a multipolar conflict, the planet is now dominated by two emerging superblocks. An accelerated and desperate arms race begins, far more intense than what we saw in our history. The standoff isn't ideological. It's a direct confrontation across the Atlantic and Pacific Oceans. There is no Cold War, a long period of proxy conflicts and political maneuvering. Instead, the world is on a knife's edge, teetering on the brink of a direct, global hot war between two planetary giants. A future defined by confrontation, not cooperation, is dawning. So what happens next? In the dark decade from 1944 to 1950, historians and analysts imagine several chilling potential outcomes. Scenario 1. A third world war erupts, but it's unlike anything we can imagine. With the full might of European science and industry consolidated, nuclear technology appears much earlier. The first atomic bombs aren't a last resort to end a war. They become the opening salvo in a new one. Two superpowers, both armed with world-ending weapons, face each other head-on with no buffers and no allies to hold them back. The devastation would be global. Scenario 2. The rise of underground movements. Even with the fall of governments, the spirit of resistance never dies. Secret resistance groups, far larger and better organized than the partisans of our history, begin to grow across the conquered territories of Europe and Asia. Funded and supplied by the Americas, they wage a brutal, clandestine war from within, challenging the New World Order through sabotage, espionage, and rebellion. The world becomes a planet-wide shadow war. And then there's Scenario 3, a rapid, twisted scientific boom. With the combined resources of British intelligence, German rocketry, and European industry, the space age begins a full decade ahead of schedule. The first satellites aren't for communication. They are for surveillance and orbital bombardment. The moon race isn't a symbol of human achievement. It's a race to establish a military high ground. Science and technology advance at a dizzying pace, but every breakthrough is weaponized. But whatever the path, one thing remains constant. The human cost is unimaginable. Movements for freedom and decolonization are brutally crushed or delayed by generations. Entire regions of the world suffer under harsh, totalitarian systems of control. A world built on fear, suspicion, and domination, not cooperation and diplomacy, becomes the new, dark normal. Thankfully, in our real timeline, history did not go this way. The courage of a few thousand pilots, the resilience of the British people, and the strategic dominance of the Royal Navy shaped the modern world we live in today. The defense of Britain was the firewall that prevented a future that could have been far, far more dangerous. This alternate history serves as a powerful reminder of how fragile our world is and how one single military campaign, one moment of decision, could have reshaped the entire destiny of our planet. The world we have is not guaranteed. It was fought for, and it was won on the knife's edge of history. Thanks for watching.